Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient. Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient.
Hello, resilient listeners. Welcome to another episode of Resilient with Jen Chambers, a podcast where we explore how to navigate life's ups and downs with courage, strength, and a whole lot of heart. I'm your host, Jen Chambers. Today, we're diving into a topic that touches every single one of us: vulnerability. It sounds so negative to be vulnerable. And let's face it, being vulnerable is hard. It means putting ourselves out there. It means opening yourself up to the possibility of rejection. It means embracing things that are uncertain, and those are very uncomfortable. But here's the thing. Being vulnerable is also being where the magic happens. It's where we find connection. It's where we find our true creativity and courage and even love. In this episode, we're going to explore why vulnerability is essential for living a resilient life. We'll talk about some actionable ways to embrace your vulnerability, and I'll guide you through a meditation to help you find strength in being open. And we'll also review Brené Brown's transformative book, The Gifts of Imperfection. Let's jump in. Thanks for joining me. Let's start with some practical steps to help you lean into vulnerability. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. Sometimes it's scary. But being vulnerable is also an incredible opportunity to grow and to connect with yourself on a deeper level. I have several action steps that can help us learn about embracing being vulnerable. And this is something that I have to work on all the time. Being vulnerable it's opening yourself up to possible damage, right? It's taking off the pieces of your shell. So these are some of the action steps that have helped me, and I hope that they help you. The first is recognizing that being vulnerable is actually not weakness, but it's courage. The first step is shifting that mindset about it, right? Vulnerability gets a really bad reputation. It's seen as a sign of just being weak or of failing. But in reality, allowing yourself to be seen and in letting yourself take risks is one of the bravest things you can do. It takes far more strength to be open than to hide behind walls. I mean, I think of, I'm sure everyone had this experience where you're in high school and you want to call the person or text the person that you're into, and you just don't know if they're going to answer, and you think about it way too long, and then you finally press send or make that call, and you're so worried about what's going to happen. But you just never know. You could be opening up something that could last your whole life. The second action step is starting small. You don't have to dive into this whole vulnerability thing head first and do, just have your soul on the outside of your body. I like to think that it begins with small acts of openness, like really tiny. This could mean just like sharing your feelings with a friend, or you could admit that you need help, or you could take a creative risk. I mean, when you're talking about risks, it doesn't have to be painting a giant mural in your hometown for your first public art attempt. You could do an Instagram post. You could show up at the drop-in book group at your library. You could take the class that you've always wanted to take. Each small step builds confidence in your ability to be vulnerable and to do the things that matter to you. action step 3 is leaning in to discomfort. Vulnerability isn't supposed to be comfortable, right? You're supposed to step into the unknown. Now, that's what's so scary about it, because you can't control it. The next time you feel that kind of fear or discomfort about opening up, even if it's something as saying what you mean or what you need to say in a meeting or with a relative, pause and ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And what's the best that could happen? Often the potential for growth far outweighs the risk of what could happen that turns bad. I have to weigh things like that all the time. Honestly, I'm so scared of what might happen that I'm not as open to what good could happen. So I kind of, when those opportunities come up for me, I really try hard to not focus on the negatives and think to myself, but what if everything goes right? And I really do mean that I have to retrain myself. It's like those negative self-talk kinds of things, but in more of an actionable way. You're literally telling yourself, you're training yourself for things going right rather than anticipating that they're going to go wrong. And it's a small shift, but it makes a big difference, actually. The fourth step that I have is embracing the imperfections. A big part of being vulnerable is letting go of perfectionism. I'd love to be able to, sometimes when I'm doing talks, I make people raise their hands if they're perfectionists. And I don't know if you can guess, but I totally am. It's a bad habit, really. I know you don't have to have it all together all the time, and that it's okay. And I know that embracing the things you see as imperfections allow you to connect with others in a lot more of a real way, an authentic way. It's just so hard for me. I don't think I'm egotistic, but why do I assume that if I don't do things perfectly, people won't like me? I'll get bad reviews. My friends won't talk to me. I don't know what I anticipate is going to happen, but sometimes it stops me. My mentor, Kathy Heller, says, do it messy. And I love that. It kind of takes away the sting of having to be perfect. And also, it takes away the way that we often feel that we have to pretend to be perfect, even though we aren't. And it kind of allows you to take off that mask. The fifth step is practicing self-compassion. Being vulnerable means putting yourself out there. And sometimes that means facing rejection or failure. You're not everybody's flavor of ice cream. You're just not. You're not everybody's favorite show. And that's okay. I can like pistachio and you can like almond. That's okay. And understanding that, truly understanding it and not taking it personally helps you be more compassionate towards yourself. When that happens, be kind and treat yourself like you would any friend. Be understanding and encourage rather than judging and being very negative, like, oh, so I got one bad review, so now no one likes me and none of my books are going to be successful. You can extrapolate. But it's not helpful, right? One really important thing that I took away from this book was something that I try to do pretty often. I mean, I don't do this every day, but then most days. Find something that lights you up. It's really vulnerable to talk about things that make you feel good. Is it writing? Is it gardening? Do you like fixing motorcycle engines or helping your community? Do you play an instrument? I mean, commit to yourself to do one little thing towards that dream every day. It doesn't have to be perfectly done at all. Do it messy. You're making progress towards joy, and practicing joy brings you more joy, and being vulnerable enough to nurture yourself in this way is so powerful. Now let's take a moment to connect with ourselves through a guided meditation. I often like to do these, and this meditation is for finding strength in that vulnerability. It's designed to help you embrace that as a source of strength and courage, kind of flipping it around. I'd love for you to find a quiet place. Let's close your eyes down if you feel comfortable. And let's begin. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Feel yourself settling into the present moment. As you continue to breathe, think of a moment when you felt the most vulnerable. Maybe it was a conversation. Maybe it was doing something creative that tapped into something that you couldn't vocalize out loud. Maybe it was a time when you took a leap of faith. Allow this memory to come to your mind along with any emotions that it brings up. Really visualize it. And think of how you felt in that moment. Now imagine a warm, peachy gold cloud surrounding you. This light, fluffy cloud supports you like the softest and most comfortable bed. This represents your courage and your capacity to grow through vulnerability. With each inhale, draw this feeling closer to your heart. And with each exhale, let go of the fear, let go of the judgment, let go of the resistance. You feel safe, cozy, strong. Now repeat to yourself, vulnerability is my strength. I am brave enough to be seen. I am worthy of connection. Let's repeat those to yourselves one more time. Vulnerability is my strength. I am brave enough to be seen. I am worthy of connection. Now picture yourself stepping into a space of openness, free from fear, full of possibility. See yourself embracing your imperfections and finding connection in your authentic self. Let's take one more deep breath, feeling gratitude for your willingness to show up fully in your life. Imagine yourself sitting up from this fluffy cloud bed, pushing the peaky gold clouds away from you and sitting up. When you're ready, gently bring yourself back to the present moment. Take a moment to notice how this visualization made you feel. Vulnerability can feel raw, but it's also a powerful act of courage and self-love. Keep this sense of openness with you as we continue. Now let's talk about a book that has inspired millions of people to embrace vulnerability. Our book review today is about The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. This book is a game changer, so they say. The whole idea of this book is letting go who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we really are, including our imperfections. Brown's research and her insights are really important to show us about how being vulnerable and using courage and embracing the idea of connection are the things that are at the heart of living a resilient and joyful life. It's basically a guide to living authentically. Brené Brown shares 10 guideposts that she says are wonderful to cultivate courage, compassion, and connection. Each of these guideposts is a good reminder to let go of that perfectionism and the self-doubt and fear, all of that in favor of living wholeheartedly and being who you really are. The takeaways that I got are, number one, the idea that wholehearted living, something that she talks about, requires being vulnerable. She defines wholehearted living as engaging in our lives from a place of feeling worthy. And in order to feel worthy, we have to let go of the shame and fear, which is super hard. It's hard to admit that we have that, let alone let it go. The second takeaway I got, and I talk about this a lot, is about self-compassion. One of her key guideposts is about the compassion and learning how to treat yourself kindly, especially when you feel vulnerable or when you feel like you're doing something imperfectly or wrongly. It's a foundation for the kind of resilience that I practice and preach, and it's nice to have her instructions in this book. So I really recommend that you look it up. The last thing that I took away from this is letting go of what other people think. That one is interesting because everything else is internal, and this is kind of looking at the externals. It's about the importance of letting go of the need for approval. And then when we stop worrying about what other people think, we then free ourselves to live more authentically and take things more seriously and do more things that matter to us. It's more than just like a self-help book, although I would say that all of her books are great for being self-help books. Her books are really, really important because it helps you show up. It helps you really, truly have steps to break free from those patterns that you're used to, these things that we circle around on ourselves. I have to say that, you kind of get into a place where you feel like maybe you read too many self-help books and they all kind of say the same kinds of things. And I really feel like Brené Brown, her books, they walk the talk. She really helps you. And it's not just lip service. I feel like because of her research background, I really recommend that if you want to dive deeper into the whole idea of the power of being vulnerable and being authentic. I mean, I've been doing this for years, but I feel like it's given me some breakthroughs. So I highly recommend this book, The Gifts of Imperfection. I'll include a link to the book in the show notes so that you can check it out. All right, resilient listeners. That just about wraps up today's episode on embracing vulnerability. Remember, being vulnerable is not a weakness. It's your greatest strength. It's where your connection and your growth and your resilience are all born from. Before we finish up today here, I'm so excited to announce a call for submissions. I'm excited because I'm announcing an anthology that I'm putting together called Woven with Light, Mended with Gold, True Stories of Resilience. It's an anthology of real stories from people who have faced illness and loss and adversity and found strength and healing and even hope. This kind of is a real heart project for me. I used to do a lot of anthologies and tell a lot of people's stories in the publishing company that I used to own part of. That was part of our motto, was sharing people's stories, because your stories matter. And if you have a story of resilience you'd like to share, whether it's navigating your chronic illness or overcoming a personal struggle, or ways that you have found light in the darkest moments of your life, I'd love for you to be part of this book. My goal is to have it published by October 30th, 2025. Submissions are open now. Here's what to know. They need to be true stories, true personal stories of resilience. These stories need to be 2,500 words or less. And the deadline is June 30th. To submit things, you can submit to resilient.pod.mail@gmail.com. Your story matters and your voice matters. And the most important reason why I'm doing this is because someone out there needs to hear what you have to say. I'd love it if you listen for the next 4 weeks. I'm doing a series on my Instagram and on this podcast about how to write your story, tips for how to get your story on paper or on the computer, as the case may be. Tag a friend who has a powerful story to share, or DM me if you have any questions about this. Let's weave something beautiful together. Until next time, please stay resilient, stay brave, and keep showing up for yourself and your dreams. I'll see you on the next episode of Resilient with Jen Chambers.
Sometimes we have to start over. Sometimes we have to fight back. Sometimes it's all too much. Lost inside the black. Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient. Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient. Sometimes we need to lift the voices of those who've overcome and expose the ones that made the choices